Hey, we're live again. Let's.
Are you wearing the same clothes that you did in last week's episode?
I am.
Me
I
too.
am. You are, and I'm sitting in the exact same position. I've barely shifted. So,
So weird.
yeah, I know, right? Well, welcome back to the Real Investing Show. My name is Stephen Earp, and my co-host Taylor Davis. And if you, wherever you're watching this from, let us know in the comments who you are, where you're from, and also if you have any questions about real estate or real estate investing, or investing in general. I would love to try to the best we can to answer any questions you might have. For this episode, we're going to talk about um, ROE, return on equity. And this is not a common term, it's not a common phrase that you hear about, but return on equity. So we're just going to kind of go back and forth and define a few terms for you. Taylor, first of all, when someone uses the term equity, what does equity mean when we're talking about real estate?
Equity is the value. Equity would be the difference between the value of the home and what you owe on it. So the amount of value that is in the home that if you sold, you'd be able to turn into liquidity or to cash.
Okay. So equity is basically if you sell the house and pay off the loan, how much money do you have left?
Yep.
And so when we're talking about now, we talk a lot about return on investment, but and a return on investment would be
return on investment would be like how much money am I getting back based off how much am I putting in. So if I invest $100,000, how much am I getting back every year? You know, a 10% return would be on investment would be $10,000 a year on my $100,000 investment.
yeah.
And in real estate, you can get much higher returns than that just because you can borrow against it. So I can buy $100,000 asset, put $20,000 down,
Yeah.
and potentially make more. So
Yeah. So the different. Go ahead.
So yeah, and then return on equity is really something that you just see in real estate, or at least that I've really ever seen. And that is this kind of thought process of how much money would I have to invest if I sold this asset, or if I did a cash out refi or something. If I took that equity out,
Yeah.
what could I then do? And so you start to compare the asset that you have with the equity you have and how it is performing and how much it is bringing in versus, hey, if I sold this asset and then took that money and bought 2 or 3 other assets, what would I be able to get out of that? And so that's that comparing that return on equity to decide what is the best thing. Do you hold do you hold it? Do you sell it? Do you hold it? You fold it? Do you know when to walk away?
Can you sing a little?
Know when to hold them, know when to fold them. I'm not good.
Okay, that was great. I mean,
Was it?
that was probably the first time we've had music on our podcast ever.
I think so.
Yeah. So you are considering, or you're looking to sell a couple of your Airbnbs because they're not giving you sufficient return on equity.
Correct.
So first of all, like, where did you? Let me just ask some questions. Is that cool?
Yeah, please.
Where did you get these Airbnbs?
One of them was on the MLS in 2020, I think. 2020, maybe. No, 2020. Bought it, remodeled it, and it's been an Airbnb performing in our portfolio since then.
Okay.
It's a 2-bedroom, 1.5 bath. I got it on the MLS for $60,000. I think it needed a ton of work.
Yeah.
We put about 50 into it. I'd have to go back and look. So I think all in all, after financing and everything, we had roughly $110,000 in this. However, my loan is only for like 50, I think 52.
Yeah.
And today I feel like I could get that sold for roughly 165, maybe 170.
Yeah. 165, 170.
So after paying everything off and closing costs, I'm going to end up with a little over $100,000 in equity there.
Gotcha.
Um, and what we're seeing, we have 11 Airbnbs,
Uh-huh.
and what we're seeing is our 2-bedroom, 1-baths just aren't performing near as well as like a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, or a 4 or 5-bedroom. We have 2 5-bedrooms that do really, really well.
Mhm.
And so, in looking at those numbers, we're going, well, should we keep the 2-bedroom, or should we sell it and move it to a 3 or 4 or 5-bedroom?
Right. Right. So you decided you're going to sell the 2-bedroom Airbnbs.
Yep. So I'm going to sell 2 of them. We have 3. One's performing pretty well, but it's no, I take that back. It's a 3-bedroom. Just kidding. We converted it from a 2-bedroom to a 3-bedroom. So I forget about that. So yeah, the 2 that we're selling. The other one we actually just bought maybe 4 or 5 months ago, and it was actually a real estate agent brought it to me. It was about to hit the market, and a real estate agent brought it to me and said, is this something you'd be interested in? And we ended up partnering on that. And it's this really cool Art Deco home on campus. I love it. It's exciting. Yet it's just not performing as well as it should be. And so we looked at the numbers, and we had about $75,000 in equity after the remodel and everything. So, or that in profit is what we're going to be getting. But we've even got more than that in equity. So we both looked at that and decided, you know what, maybe we should go ahead and sell this, and then we can go buy a new one.
Yeah. Okay. So you made the hard decision to sell 2 of them, and then what will you do? So you'll end up with about $170,000 equity.
Yeah.
Or $170,000 cash.
Cash.
What do you plan to do with that?
So, ideally, if we can find the right thing, we want to do a 1031 tax exchange. So
Okay.
a 1031 tax exchange allows you to buy another like asset, and so another real estate property, and continue to defer taxes. So so instead of seeing this profit of $170,000 that I have to pay capital gains on,
Yeah.
we can move it to another asset. So ideally, we're in the process of looking for something. The downside, I'm going to give a little advice here. If you can do a 1031 tax exchange, you should do it. It's an amazing way to defer your tax consequences. And
Yeah.
if you do it your whole life, then you never have to really realize those tax consequences.
Right.
The downside to a 1031 tax exchange is from the day you close, you can't touch that money. It goes into a third-party account that you can't touch, and you have 45 days to identify the new property that you're buying. And so the mistake some people make is they end up not buying a good deal just so they avoid paying taxes. I personally would rather pay, as much as I don't like paying too much in taxes, I'd rather pay some in taxes and get great deals than make a bad decision and just buy something to park my money. Does that make sense?
Yep.
So ideally right now we're looking for, and I would love commercial. That's really what we're looking for. But if the right residential deal were to pop up, or the right house that I think would be an Airbnb, we'll move it into that.
Right.
And if we can't in that first 45 days, we're going to pay it down a line of credit that we have, so that we have that access to that cash when the right deal comes along.
Gotcha. So basically what you're going to do, you're always looking for deals.
Right.
It's not like you start late. And then that's one thing too. If on the 1031 exchange, if someone's got some investments sitting there and they're not actively looking for properties, it's probably gonna be harder for them. But you're always looking at deals, looking for deals. You're selling deals, and if anybody's going to find a deal, it'll be you. And
I'm an addict when it comes to trying to find deals.
Yeah. So what you'll do is your 45 days will start if you have not identified something by 45 days. And I'm sure you'll bust your tail between, in that time frame to try to find something. Then you're going to take that and pay down on a line of credit and just park it there until.
Right.
Yeah.
and again, you want to buy something with equity. I want to find a good deal that's going to have some of that equity, because then I could borrow. So let's say I've found a $200,000 house and I have this $175,000. So I'll go buy that $200,000 house.
Yeah.
But I want to buy, really what I want to do is buy a $250,000 house at $200,000, right? So I've got some equity there. And now I'll put that money in there. Then I can go borrow against the $250,000 house.
Yeah.
Get a lot of that money back. My cash flow will be less, but I'll have that money back.
Right.
I can pay down a line of credit, because I like to have the ability to close on a deal when that deal pops up, and I want to be able to pay cash for it. So I like to keep a line of credit available if possible.
Yeah. I've mistakenly run into this recently where I've got all my cash tied up in several deals, and I've got a deal I really would like to buy and close on right now, but I don't have enough liquidity. And it's like, now I'm fighting all these battles that are unnecessary if you just have the cash or line of credit sitting there. So,
yeah. Well, that's the ongoing battle. If you're really good at finding deals, you never have cash, or you rarely have cash, because your cash goes into these deals. It's the real estate investor's dilemma, right? Like these really wealthy people that have no money.
Well, yeah. I don't know if I'm really wealthy, but when there are deals I can move them along faster if I just use cash, then it's hard for me to not do that.
Right.
And when I get down, I'm like, whoa, where's my
money?
I
gotta go. I guess I gotta go get some cash back out.
Yeah, where'd my money go? All right. So yeah. So but okay, so anything else? So how do you, do you like have a system for going through your properties to determine the return on equity, or did you just?
I don't. I have. Okay, so I track my numbers on the Airbnbs. So we're constantly looking at, what is profitable, what's not profitable. By the way, I've got properties that have unique value propositions tend to do the best. That's why I was a little surprised about the Fitz, the Art Deco, because it's this kind of unique property that I thought would do well. But in other cases, unique, cute properties do really well. And so we try to look for certain things that are just going to stand out on Airbnb. And then, so we'll sell these assets and buy other assets that are more along those lines. The bedrooms is definitely one of those things that we're realizing makes a difference. Yeah. So the system is to track your profitability. Now, if you've got a long-term rental and they're paying every month, you can know what that is. And then I keep a net worth tracker that I go through about every other month and update. Yeah. And so that kind of shows the properties that I have, how much I owe on that property, estimated value, estimated equity. So then I can look on that, kind of compare notes and go, well, this one's only made us, $2,000 so far this year after we've paid all of our expenses. That's not very good. Or, and then, so maybe we move over, like, let's sell that asset, move it into a different category, either buying another long-term rental or buying another Airbnb that's going to be a better performer.
Yeah. Okay, good.
So not exactly a system, but I do review my numbers.
Yeah. That's good. Well, it makes a lot of sense. So this is honestly, this is a concept I hadn't thought a lot about until this year, was return on equity. And it's an important thing to consider when building wealth,
Right.
In the past, I had long-term rentals, and over time they would increase in value and the payment would go down, and I'd track my net worth that way. But the idea that I'm not leveraging the equity that I have in the optimal way, I'd never even considered that for decades until this year. So
yeah, well, and it's just okay. So like the $175,000 that I'm getting out of 2 Airbnbs, right, out of 2 properties that are renting, I could theoretically go buy 4 or 5 different properties if I were putting just 20% down. Now all of a sudden I'm going to get 5 times the appreciation. I'm going to get 5 times the tax benefit.
Yeah.
And I'm going to probably have the same or slightly greater cash flow. So
Right.
when you start doing that, and so I think a lot of people, and listen, there's different strategies, and you need to know what is your strategy. Like for me, I am at an age where I'm willing to risk a little bit more, and to get a greater return, right?
Mhm.
If I go, like, even at my my financial planner, I'm in a high. I chose to go into a high risk category because I want the greater returns, and I know that I have the opportunity for greater losses. But I'm at an age where I'm going to be able to recover before I retire. If
Mhm.
you're borderline retirement, paying down debt may be important to you, so you just have that stability and you feel comfortable with it. You're not worried about
Mhm.
what if this goes a couple months unrented and now I'm paying this debt. So I think you got to look at that and your risk to reward. But a lot of people want to pay down debt and they think that that's the way to do it. And I really don't think that that's the best way. The best way, in my opinion, is to leverage someone else's money and allow you to reap the benefits of it. That's how every other business worked, or major business out there has worked. So this is a way to evaluate that.
Cool. I love it.
So,
Well, thanks for educating our audience, bro, on return on investment and return on equity and the differences of it and how to assess that. So I think it's a great strategy. So well done. Good luck with selling.
all right.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you guys so much for watching, and pass along your questions about real estate investing. We'll do our best to answer as many as we can. God bless.